quite possibly my favorite animated series of the past decade, and perhaps of all time, Over the Garden Wall is a brilliant exploration of life, death, loss, and growth. Created by Patrick McHale, the series follows brothers Wirt and Greg on a 10-episode odyssey through the land of the unknown. Inspired by vintage New England postcards and the early cartoons of Max Fleischer and Walt Disney, its animation evokes a cozy wistfulness, like autumn personified. Despite its limited runtime, just around 110 minutes, its large cast of characters managed to make strong impressions thanks in large part to their voice cast. Starring Elijah Wood with Christopher Lloyd, Tim Curry, Bebe Neuwirth, John Cleese, and Marion Peru herself, Shirley Jones, all lending their voices to the eclectic inhabitants of the unknown. In addition to its animation and cast, the miniseries also features memorable music from the American Nouveau folk band The Blasting Company. Existing somewhere between the crossroads of Eastern Europe and New Orleans, with touches of opera thrown in for good measure, The Blasting Company's musical style helps reinforce the series' turn-of-the-century aesthetics. All of these components add to the intricate world of the unknown, which perhaps makes it all the more surprising that besides a few ancillary comic books, the series is entirely self-contained. Not that that's a bad thing. Too often, great films or television series don't know when to stop. But it's rare to find a cartoon with such a unique style and specific world building that it's practically begging to be explored further. Though while many fans wish to be able to explore the unknown for themselves, I found that its story doesn't naturally yield itself to the basic theme park concept. Perhaps it could be adapted into a live-action roleplay event like Knott's Ghost Town Alive, but instead, I propose that it belongs at a different event entirely, Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. To the best of my knowledge, Universal's never based a house off an animated property, at least in its American parks, though fans have been clamoring for a Simpsons Treehouse of Horror maze for years. Personally, I'd love to see a Coraline house, or even one based on McHale's latest work with Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, but we can save that discussion for another time. While one may initially scoff at the idea of a cartoon being scary enough for the quintessential Halloween event, Over the Garden Wall expertly balances humor with horror. Initially conceived as a Halloween special, with Wirt and Greg making a Faustian bargain with a devil-esque figure named Old Scratch, even though this concept was ultimately abandoned, its darker undertones carried over. While certain episodes contain more overt horror elements, even during the series' lighter vignettes, the ominous beast is constantly looming over Wirt and Greg's journeys. And assuming the house is well received, it could even become a permanent attraction, utilizing the carcass of the former Walking Dead maze. So, as the warmth of fall makes way for the darkness of winter, let's take another trip into the unknown and explore what might have been. Spoiler warning for the entire series, so just do yourself a favor and go watch it and then come back to this video. I believe it's currently on HBO Max and Hulu, and may even be on YouTube for free. Seriously, I cannot recommend it enough. In the interest of time, and to keep focus on the series' scarier elements, I decided to bypass the episodes about Quincy Endicott and the Frogland Fairy, as both are on the more whimsical side of things. Also, for the sake of flow, neither Greg's Dream in the Clouds nor the flashback to Halloween Night are included in this treatment, as they're such strong departures from the rest of the series and don't make much sense out of context.
Well, that's enough.
But a few references to both, such as the old windbag jar hidden on a shelf, would be scattered throughout the maze for eagle-eyed fans to discover. As we enter the maze, we find ourselves in the dark woods of the unknown. Red eyes peer out from the branches overhead as we hear a far-off train whistle. Through the trees, we glimpse the abandoned old grist mill. But as we approach, we come across the first scare actor in the form of the woodsman, who leaps out from behind a tree holding his lantern and warning us to beware the beast. As we hurry towards the mill, we see a few black turtles along the riverbank, and hear the croak of Jason Funderburker from a nearby barrel. Inside, we pass through the empty parlor and staircase, noticing the remains of a recent struggle. Suddenly, Beatrice's dog-turned-monster emerges from a hole in the wall, its eyes gleaming brightly. It viciously snarls at us as we run past. Back in the woods, we reach a sign pointing towards Pottsfield. Near it, John Crop's vegetable car sits amongst the strewn about pumpkins. We pass through a cornfield and make our way into a barn, where several pumpkin-clad residents emerge from the darkness. We reach the second large puppet of the house as we come face to face with the enormous pumpkin head of Enoch, who menacingly convicts us for trespassing. Of course, we're in no actual danger with these weirdos, and as we leave the barn, we meet several blacklit skeletons on their way to join the party. The woods continue to shroud our way as the sounds of an approaching storm begin to grow louder. Among the brush, we see the silhouette of a large dark figure. Could it be the beast? No, it's just Jimmy stuck in the gorilla suit. He yells at us as we journey on. Up ahead is the imposing structure of the Dark Lantern Tavern, its windows casting an eerie glow through the drizzling rain. The outline of the highwayman lurks in one of the upper windows. Inside, we find a bit of comfort and warmth. The tavern keeper sings about the beast while her dog sleeps by the fire. Given, they're just a distraction for the highwayman to scare us from the other side. Making our way back outside, we once again come across the woodsman, now cutting down an edelwood tree. We also have our first real encounter with the beast, who is a large, imposing figure on stilts, completely shrouded in black save for his two glowing eyes. Turning the corner, we approach the cottage of Adelaide of the Pasture. The inside is covered with strings of yarn like an enormous woolly spiderweb. We duck through the labyrinthine thread, searching for an escape as Adelaide shouts at us to close the window. As we leave the cottage, we pass by her steaming remains, her smoke filling the room. Breaking through the acrid cloud of smoke, we once again are attacked by the beast, this time seemingly larger and even more menacing. Recovering from that scare, we enter the rundown home of Auntie Whispers. Lorna is beckoning us to safety while the shadow of Auntie Whispers can be seen coming down the staircase, warning us about making Lorna wicked. We quickly hide in the cellar, and within the pitch darkness, the demonic form of Lorna suddenly emerges. Perhaps this can be one of the few instances of those black boxes Hollywood is so fond of using. We hear the ringing of the bell as the spirit tries to possess us several more times. Eventually, we find ourselves back in the relative safety of the woods, now barren and covered in ice. The deep baritone song of the beast echoes around us as snow begins to fall. The occasional flash of lightning reveals Beatrice's silhouette high in the branches above us. We enter a clearing and see the woodsman fighting the beast. The beast bargains with us to take up his lantern, and as the woodsman goes to snuff out its light, the beast's true hideous form is briefly revealed before he plunges everything into darkness. Leaving the finale, we finally emerge from the woods and exit through a small cemetery. Greg's stolen rock can be seen nestled amongst the tombstones, as Jason Funderburker's croaking and the mournful tinkling of a piano bid us goodbye to the land of the unknown. And so the story is complete, and everyone is satisfied with the ending, and so on and so forth. And yet, no maze or attraction will ever truly capture the charm, depth, and artistry of Over the Garden Wall. There's a reason why the miniseries continues to garner a strong cult following year after year. And while many dream of one day actually joining Wirt, Greg, and Beatrice on their journey through the unknown, I sadly doubt that may ever come to pass. But as the old song goes, if dreams can't come true, then why not pretend? Thanks for watching, everyone. Do you think Over the Garden Wall could fit in a theme park? And are there any other properties you wish to see turned into a Horror Nights maze? As always, you can watch every video early by joining our Patreon and even have your name listed amongst these fine patrons. Like our Platinum Visioneer, Garrett Gordon, and my assistant to the Regional Manager, Alyssa Clark. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all a little later.